If I could have your attention, please, we'll get started with the program. One thing about it, at a Kentucky Cattlemen's Association convention, you can always count on a good cut of beef. So I hope your meal was as good as mine. I actually think we need to thank Becky Thompson for that. I think she chooses the menu every year, so thank you, Becky. Yes. Tonight, we have already conducted most of our business for the week, and tonight it's our honor and it's time to honor our fellow cattlemen, some young cattlemen, and some beef industry partners. So tonight, let's just sit back and enjoy ourselves. It has been an honor to lead the organization this past year, but I'll have to say right off that there's no way that I could have done what I have been given credit for, at least, without our executive committee. We have a wonderful executive committee, and at this time I would like them to stand as I call your name. Tim White is the president-elect. Steve Dunning is the vice president. Ken Adams is the secretary-treasurer. Chris Cooper is association program chair. Andy Bishop, beef council chair. Kerry King, chair of the Beef Network. Our regional vice presidents, Region 1 is Daniel Hayden. Region 2, Joe Lowe. Region 3, John Benarski. Region 4, Jeremy Jones. Region 5, Gary Ford. Our immediate past president is Chuck Crutcher. And Dr. Richard Coffey, the University of Kentucky. I don't think he's here, but that is our executive committee, and let's give them a round of applause. We also have a few special guests tonight. We have with us the NCBA president-elect from Tennessee. She spoke earlier today, but Jennifer Houston, would you please stand? Then we always appreciate our government people. We have two representatives with us tonight, Representative Kim King and Representative Rick Rand. Would you all please stand? And I will say we really appreciate the support of both of those legislators in the past for not only our organization, but also for agriculture in general. So, additionally, we have an 89-member board of directors that helps us run the organization. If you're a member of that board of directors, I'm not going to call all 89 members, but if you are a member of that, would you please stand and be recognized? There has been a lot of discussion about the growth of our board, but as our organization has grown, obviously the board has grown, and it really works out well because we have a very active group of board of directors, and we have a lot of oversight to do, and so I do appreciate all of those board members and all of their input throughout the year. We also are honored tonight to have several past presidents, and I'll have to say I've got more respect for you now than I did in the past. So if you are a past KCA president, would you please stand? And as you all know, the organization is a grassroots organization. We function from the county organizations up to the state. So if you're a county president, we really appreciate all the work that you do on a county level. So if you're a county president, would you please stand and be recognized? Next, I would like to recognize my family. Obviously, anytime that you are away from home, you end up having to have somebody back home taking up all the slack. And throughout this last year, my family has obviously taken up a lot of the slack. Jean Kay never likes to be put in the spotlight, but Jean Kay, my wife, would you please stand? My daughter, and hold your applause till I introduce everybody. My daughter, Ashley, would you please stand? Roby and Tabitha, my son and daughter-in-law, would you all please stand? And then my brother and his wife, Baird and Kathy Forey. Baird is a veterinarian and comes in handy quite often. So I appreciate him. And then we've added a couple in terms of our family. Drew and Laura Graham just happened to be the father-in-law of my son. Tabitha Graham is their daughter. And Drew was just named the executive vice president of the Kentucky Farm Bureau. And so, Drew and Laura, would you please stand? We consider them every bit family as well. Thank you. And then I would also like to recognize all of the KCA staff. They didn't want their names called individually. I would like to do so, but we do have a lot of recognitions tonight, and it may get a little bit long, but at the same time, they deserve all the credit in the world. So Dave Maples and all of your staff, would you please stand and be recognized? And then I also want to thank my county. It's really wonderful to have support from your county organization, and I didn't expect a whole contingent from Henry County, my home county, to come and support me, but I really appreciate that. So if everybody from Henry County would please stand in the middle at the table, be recognized for all that you've done for me this past year. Thank you. And then I've got one special person at that table. Justin and Catherine Atchison are at that table. And Justin, you can stand up again because Justin is my farm manager. I hired him 2.5 years ago. When I hired him, I said, now Sundays we will alternate feeding. I think I've fed one Sunday in the last 2.5 years because he's taken up the slack every single Sunday. And I'll guarantee you there's not a person in this room that puts in more hours on a farm than Justin Atchison. So Justin, stand up. I really appreciate you. Okay, I've probably overlooked somebody. But at this time, I would like to call on Tim White, our president-elect, to recognize our convention sponsors, please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We would like to take this time to thank the corporate sponsors that help provide the assistance and financial backing for our 2019 convention and trade show. That we have different levels of participation that they can be in. Starts off at the platinum level, the gold, the silver, and the bronze. So what I would like to do is, if representatives, I'm going to call off the companies that have helped us with this convention and throughout the year. If you would, a representative for each company, would you stand when I call your name? Just remain standing till we get done, and if you all would, please hold your applause to the end, and we'll thank them, okay? So let's start with the gold group, Central Kentucky Ag Credit, Farm Credit Services of Mid-America, H&R Power, Tartar Farm and Ranch, Neat Distributing. Those are our golds. Now our silvers, Alamo Group, Bush Hog, Corteva AgriScience, Kentucky Department of Ag, and McBurney Livestock. That's our silver group. Our bronze group, Alltech, Barenberg USA, Bozyme, Bobcat of Evansville and Bowling Green, Branchview Angus, CHR Hansen, Data Mars Inc., Elanco Animal Health, The Hartford, IDEX, Crone, Ohio Valley Insurance, Owensboro Grain, Pennington Seed, and Zoetis. Now, if you would, join with me in thanking them for their support in this. And again, I said, and then of course with the top level is the platinum level. And with this sponsorship, if you look down here to I guess to your left and my right is the Bluegrass Gobo. And Bluegrass has been a sponsor of this convention for many years, and they've been a platinum sponsor for many years. I hope early when we first started off the convention, you saw the recording from Jim from the stockyard, and we appreciate that. But Jim, if you or someone would come up, we sure would like to present you with a plaque for your participation. Let's give Bluegrass Stockyard a hand. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joe Goggin, and I'm not as tall as Tim White. I get the pleasure this year of once again presenting and recognizing our Hall of Fame inductees into the KCA Hall of Fame, and it never ceases to amaze me each year when I get the list of names and they give me the applications of the winners to kind of go over for this, the quality of people that consistently get nominated and are selected for this Hall of Fame. And this year is no different. You'll see as we go through this, and we'll try to keep it moving quickly because we've got a lot to do tonight, but you'll see a common theme of these individuals' contributions, not only on the local and the state, but also on the national level that they've made in the beef cattle industry and in their cattlemen's associations. Before we get to the first one, I do want to take care of a couple of housekeeping duties, Becky, because I'll forget at the end if I don't do it now. All the nominees at the end of the banquet tonight, if you'll go, or all the recipients, if you'll go to the picture backdrop, you and your families for pictures. And then the other thing is, I want everybody in the room, as you watch the video presentations that we have for these recipients and you hear about their contributions, think about people that you know that have also made tremendous contributions to their local, state, and national associations in the beef industry, because we really need to be thinking about that now, because actually entry deadlines or nominations are due in August. I mean, the deadline is August, so they can get all of the awards done and the video productions completed. So I want you all to keep that in the back of your mind. So with that, we'll get started. And before I introduce the first one, I do want to take just a quick second. I've got a copy of the rules for the nominations, and I just want to read real quick here the purpose of the award. The Kentucky Cattlemen's Association Hall of Fame is designed to honor a member of the organization that has given time, service, and talent to the betterment of the Cattlemen's Association at the county and/or state levels. And then down in the guidelines section, some of the qualifications needed: have impeccable character, have provided truly outstanding leadership affecting Kentucky agriculture, have made noteworthy contributions, have received recognition for achievements. And number 5, recognition should be given to nominees with great accomplishments. And I think you'll see tonight as we go through this, all of these nominees have met these qualifications. So with that, we'll begin with Region 1. Our Region 1 Hall of Fame recipient is Mr. Steve Henshaw. This one's pretty special to me. I got to know Steve early in the early 80s, and I quickly learned that Steve Henshaw was probably one of the most intelligent, thoughtful, deep-thinking people I would ever come across. you would attend a meeting and things may be going back and forth, and Steve, when he spoke, it was well thought out, and everybody stopped, and they listened. And he was spot on with his ideas. And I got to thinking back, Dave, I never remember Steve Henshaw missing a meeting. Steve is from Union County. Interesting story, since we're in Owensboro, Kentucky. Many of you will remember in the late 80s, we had, for the first time, in addition to our annual meeting convention, we had a mid-year meeting. And we had it here in Owensboro at what used to be known as the Big E, the Executive and the Convention Center. And I never will forget, when I got out of the car out here after driving down here from Lexington, and there were a couple other people getting out of a vehicle next to me that were from up just east of Lexington, and they made a comment when they got out of the car, and Steve happened to be standing there, and they said, "My gosh, it's a long way down here." And Steve never missed a beat, and he goes, "You know the odd thing? It's the same distance going the other way." So I tell you, Dave, it really, I've never forgotten about that. And as you all are here, it gives me a great appreciation for actually having this convention in this town. And for those of you where I'm from, Central and on into Eastern Kentucky, that think this is Western Kentucky, I'll point out there's still another 2.5 hours west of here. So with that, if you would, direct your attention to the video screens for a video tribute to Steve Henshaw.
Whenever Steve had a problem or a decision that was kind of hard to make, or he had something that he was pondering and thinking about, why we would discuss it, and I knew it wouldn't be very long until he'd say, "I think I'm going to go out and talk to my cows." So he would go out and drive through, and I guess they were just good listeners, but after he'd talked to his cows, he was able to decide what he needed to do. Steve and I were married in 1966. We were married for 51 years. We have 3 children. Christy's the oldest, and then Brian, and Travis is the youngest. We have 9 grandchildren that we're very proud of, and he was very proud of.
It's a commercial herd, black based, Angus based, but a reserved innovator is a pretty good descriptor. He was willing to try and looked to try new things and new approaches that were going to better not just his operation, but perhaps the industry too.
I would say a lot of Daddy's helping other people was behind the scenes. A lot of that you just didn't pick up on, or you would hear about it later, things that he did or other ways that he helped.
He and several leaders at that time worked out the bylaws, structured the association into the regions, and he was very instrumental in putting together the wording. The validity of those bylaws and the structure that was set forth is evident because there's been very little, if any, changes made to those bylaws over the years, and it's been almost 25 years.
Steve was eventually elected to the National Beef Board and had a 9-year served on the Joint Advertising Committee. And one of the contributions that he made was when Robert Mitchum quit being the spokesman, stepped down as the spokesman, they were looking for someone else. And so when he came home from his meeting, I suggested to him they might think about Sam Elliott. And so they contacted Sam Elliott, and sure enough, he agreed to do that. For many years, Sam Elliott was the voice of beef, it's what's for dinner.
He was a titan in the beef industry. He made Kentucky a national player.
He did really well until 2016, and then he came out of remission in 2016. Even up to the very end, if he could at all, he would be out and check the cows. He told the boys that if they didn't want to continue with them, that was okay. That had been his love and his passion. But they have that same love, and so they plan to continue with it.
With the award is it validates the amount of time and investment that he made.
But I was very humble, and you would have to give it to him posthumously, because he probably wouldn't have taken it. He would have grinned and said, "Oh no, oh shucks," and smirked and said, nah, that's not for me.
Unfortunately, we did lose Steve much too soon. As you saw in the video, he was married to his wife, Jane Ann, for 51 years. They had 3 children and 9 grandchildren. I know several are here this evening. So if you would, join me in congratulating the Henshaw family on this wonderful accomplishment. Our next recipient is from Region 2, Mr. Frank Rowland. Mr. Rowland taught agriculture in Barron County for over 30 years. Probably 2 of the biggest and longest lasting accomplishments that I think Mr. Rowland would agree would be the impact that he was able to have on the hundreds and hundreds of students that came through his classes, and also the influence he was able to have on the local Barron County Cattlemen's Association. If you don't believe he had an impact, under his direction, the membership in the Barron County Cattlemen's Association literally exploded to over 500 members. If you don't believe that's difficult, I would challenge all of you to go back to your counties and try to match it. At this time, if you would, let's direct our attention to the screens.
I'm Frank Rowland. I'm a retired vocational agriculture teacher. I grew up in Monroe County. I was in a family of 5 kids. My mother and parents sent us to college on a 132-acre farm.
Living with Frank has been an adventure. He's happy-go-lucky most of the time. And usually if there is a prank or a joke that has been pulled, then probably it was Frank. We lived about 13 miles apart, and we went to the same church for years. And he really didn't like my family. I didn't understand what was going on or what the problem was, but it turned out one year at Vacation Bible School, one of my brothers threw Kool-Aid all over him. So as a result of that, we were sort of a band. He outgrew that, and when I was a junior in high school, we started dating. And we've been married 48 years. We have 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and another one on the way.
We started out with this farm that we're on here now. It started out as 46 acres. We kept expanding, and we presently own about 240 acres. At this farm, I've got 39 mama cows, and at the other farm, I've got 50 either mama cows or gonna be mama cows.
Frank Rowland is very knowledgeable about agriculture. He does a lot of things on his own farm that some people wouldn't do. He builds his own feeders, builds his own hay rings.
Everything that's done on the farm, I do it. I do 100% of everything that's here. When it comes to cutting, raking, rolling, wrapping hay, I do it all.
I taught ag with Frank probably around 24, 25 years. He was a very good teacher, and we had a lot of success at Barron County. We had our FFA chapter, and we also had adult classes. We had a lot of recognition, and he was a big part of that.
Frank and I are heavily involved in community activities, especially the Barron County Cattlemen. He was membership chairman for several years, and I was his co-partner in crime. We would set up at different businesses and sign people up, and it got to the point if they saw us coming, sometimes they would run the other way.
When he first came on as that position, there was about 100 members in the county association, and through his hard work, we currently have a 500-member association.
We need membership in the Kentucky Cattlemen. We need people willing to come in and take over and be leaders.
He's honest and he won't cheat you, and I'm proud for him to be my friend.
being inducted into the Hall of Fame has been a thrill. But you know, you sort of feel a little bit guilty getting an award for something that you really love to do. And Frank and I really love the farm. We love what we do. We love working with the cattle, and it's been a pleasure, it's been an honor, and I'm just thrilled that he got rewarded for all the hard work that he's done.
Mr. Rowland has been married to his wife, Cynthia, for 47 years. They have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Once again, congratulations. Mr. Rowland, if you come forward. Our Region 3 recipient of the Hall of Fame is Mr. Reggie Rand from Trimble County. Mr. Rand was a founding member of the Trimble County Cattlemen's Association. He started his career actually in the dairy business, and in 1970 began the transition to an Angus herd. He has been very active in the Trimble County area and has always encouraged innovative technologies in the cattle business as well as all of farming through no-till planting back when that was in its infancy, and has made a tremendous impact on his local and state level. Now, if you'll join me in a video tribute to Mr. Rand.
The thing about Reggie is he always has a smile on his face. As soon as he sees you coming, he gets that grin on his face where you would think he's just absolutely happy to see you.
I'm Reggie Rand. I'm a cattle farmer in Trimble County, Kentucky. I've been a cattle farmer basically all my life. Then I built my own registered Angus herd from about late 70s, early 80s. Traveled to North Dakota, out to South Angus Valley. Started out with a bull from there. Got up to about 100 mama cows and calves, and it was real successful with that, selling breeding stock and such. And I had a sale then and went back then with my commercial herd, cow-calf plan, and that's what we're doing today with them.
He was one of the early registered Angus people in this area, and I don't know how many bulls I've seen and tested for him through the years, just literally hundreds and hundreds, and he's really helped the genetics and the Trimble, Henry, all through here, up into Indiana also.
His place is beautiful. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. I've never heard an ill word about him. You go by his place, it's picture perfect all the time. The number one thing with his cattle is how uniform they are. From the bulls to the females, and they can go anywhere and do a great job.
When he helped start the 4-H club, he would loan the kids animals to show in the fair. Some kids wanted to show animals, but they didn't have the animals to show, so he would kind of get that started.
I was a member of FFA when I was in high school, but I never did have a blue jacket. And they all got together and chipped in enough money and bought me a blue jacket. And I tell you, that was something that really touched me. There's really 3 generations involved here. It's me. Then there's Todd. Then I've got my great-grandson here, Cameron Whitaker, who really wants to be involved in the cattle business, and hopefully he gets it going pretty good and someday be a good cattleman. Okay, Cam?
Yeah.
All right.
He's a true farmer. He's passionate about it. He's devoted to it. It has been his life's work. He's been successful at it.
I know we're just proud as can be of him, all 4 of us. And even the grandkids and the great-grandkids, they're the ones that probably are more excited than we are. But, you know, we all love you, Paul.
I'm so thankful that the one that made all this possible, our Father in heaven, that has given me the strength and the health to do this and let me have the ability to manage this little tract of land and be the steward of this land here in Trimble County. So hopefully I'll get to do it for another 15 or 20 years, and the next time you come to interview me, maybe you can say, that gully's 100 years old. Thank you.
As Mr. Rand is coming forward to accept his honor, I will mention he's got 4 children and 6 grandchildren. Our next recipient this evening is no stranger, I think, to anybody in the room. He comes from Region 4, Mr. Mike Bach. Mike is one of those people that you can say without hesitation, he's a natural leader. He's been active both locally, state, as well as nationally. He's one of these guys that whenever you see him, Mike always has a funny or a positive story or quote or anecdote to tell and share. And Mike, this actually just happened yesterday, I've got to say real quick. We're in the foundation board meeting yesterday, and Mike happens to serve as chairman. I serve as vice chairman. We're in the meeting, Bobby, and I make a motion. Somebody seconded it, so Mike says, so motion by, and he looked across the table at me, and it was silence. And finally he came up with it. So after the meeting, we were down the trade show. He comes up to me and said, Joe, I apologize. I just had a senior moment. I said, Mike, that's no big deal. And I was going to let it pass, Mike, until he made the comment. We were talking to somebody else, and he says, actually, I do know his wife better than him. So I told him not to worry a thing about it. I would have the microphone tonight in front of a lot bigger crowd. And so, Mike, I really thought about giving you a hard time about that, but I'm going to let it slide because I find myself having those senior moments as well, so don't worry about it. So with that, if you'll turn your attention to the video screens.
You always know when Mike calls because the first thing when you pick up the phone, he goes, this is your worst nightmare from Slate Valley. And then he continues on with either a question of something that nobody would ever know the answer to.
If he likes you, he will aggravate you to death.
And I would advise some young guy that for advice, you're going to have to work hard. Nobody's going to give it to you.
He served in the military 28 years, had experiences that most people dream about, and yet is just as comfortable in a pair of raggedy coveralls as he probably was in the uniform. We just, this past August, passed 47 years. We have one son, Stephen. He's married to Rochelle, and they have 2 children, Huntley and Ellie. We live on a farm in Bath County. We have a fairly diversified farming operation. Mike and I pretty much take care of the beef cattle side of the operation, and our son takes care of the row crops, the grain and corn and soybeans.
We've got about 225 mama cows here, mainly an Angus-based herd. When we feed, we start at daylight and we go till dark, and that's if nothing goes wrong. But you feel good about that at the end of the day because I can look back and I'd say, I did that. And the guy that's got a desk job, the only thing he can say is, I moved this pile of papers from one side of my desk to the other.
When Mike has gotten involved in things that require him to be gone, I usually stay here and take care of the farm or feed cattle. When I married, I thought I was going to get somebody that would take care of me, and what I got was a man that patted me on the back and said, I've got all the confidence that you can handle this, Mary.
Even the Cooperative Extension Service office that we have today is a result of a lot of the work that Mike had done with some other leaders in the community. And in that building, we have a 2-day-a-week farmers market. We have a 2-day-a-week produce auction. And then there's a middle facility that's the Kentucky Market Pavilion, which is actually an indoor marketing facility.
I think the Cattlemen started maybe 30 years ago here. I mean, he was instrumental in, with a few other people of getting the Cattlemen's Association started.
Now, this year, we've got over 300 members. People see that out in the county and they want to be part of that.
got involved with the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association, and I believe it was 2012 I was president. We voted to take over the Eden Shale Farm. It's an educational opportunity where they put practices into use, and we have field days up there where people can just drive by and see things that are practical for everybody's farm. And to me, that was a real highlight of my presidential year.
He talks about being the nightmare from Slate Valley when he calls, but I look forward to his phone calls.
I think the Kentucky Cattlemen's organization has been really good for him. And I hope he has been good for them.
It's just grassroots people trying to do good things and kick this can down the road in a positive manner so we can still farm, raise cattle, and still keep a good name for ourselves as farmers.
As Mike's making his way up here, I will say he's been married to his wife, Mary, for 46 years. They've got one son and 2 grandchildren. Our final recipient comes from Region 5. Another one that's pretty special to me. Our recipient is Tommy Joe Davis. Tommy Davis is one of those people that, when I started thinking about this, he's one of those people I've probably known since before I knew him. Really, literally from a small child. Back when I was growing up, and Tommy Joe as well, Boyle and KC and Lincoln County went together, and they always had very large feeder calf sales. So you saw the people from those other 2 counties quite often, and his dad and family were very active in it, as were mine, and we were always at the stockyards together. So Tommy, when he got out of school, he has spent most of his career in the ag lending and banking business. And when I read his application they gave me, it mentions about his key role that he played when from his position at the bank in helping the association acquire property for an office. One thing that was left out of that application, though, that many people maybe don't realize is for several years prior to that, Tommy Joe Davis served as treasurer of this organization. And in those days, that was probably, Dave, the leanest years this organization has ever experienced by far. I mean, literally, we had a finance committee that was meeting almost weekly to decide what bills could be paid and which ones had to be put off for another week or 2. And Tommy did a masterful job of guiding the association and getting the finances of this organization in a direction to where they are today. And we owe him a tremendous amount of gratitude for that direction that he offered in the early days. So with that, let's direct our attention to the video screens.
I'm Tommy Davis. Welcome to Lincoln County. I'm a retired banker and farmer.
We'd always have to go count the cows. He said, now you count and I'm going to count. And I said, okay. And so he said, how many did you get? And I said, well, how many was there supposed to be? And he said, 56. I said, oh, that's what I got. I got 56. He said, sure you did. We're going to count them again.
I was raised on a farm from the very beginning. After high school, I went to UK, University of Kentucky. Graduated there with a degree in ag economics and went to work for Farm Credit in Louisville and traveled quite a bit in 4 states with them and moved back to Lincoln County and started farming and then went to work for a local bank. Had about 30 years of service to the banking industry.
If you need any advice or any problems or anything, you always come to Tommy. And he's usually always right. I might have been right 10 times in this marriage, and we've been married 39 years.
My wife Kay and I have two sons, Clayton and Mark, and 3 grandchildren, and they're very grand, Kinley and Brody and Will. We got commercial cows. We got about 135 cows, cow-calf operation. We got spring calvers and fall calvers. mostly black and black white-faced cows. In 8 more years, the farm will be in our family name for 100 years. I always loved our cattle. My wife always said I spent all the money on cattle instead of household goods.
Tommy Davis was very active in our Cattlemen Association. He was a director and then became vice president and on to lead our organization as our president. And not very long after that, then Tommy becomes a treasurer and financial advisor to the Kentucky Cattlemen Association.
Tommy's claim to fame in my mind was his consistency over the years. He was always there in a critical part of the association, which being the financing. He was able to lend his expertise to develop and to maintain and to keep the association alive.
I'd have to drive to Lexington about once every 2 weeks and literally go through the bills and say, pay this one, hold this one. Everybody had their own agenda, but there wasn't enough money to go around. So we had some really tough times. We got on the right track. Hopefully I helped a little bit with that. And we were able to secure a building, which is the offices that we have now. I made the loan for that. We had a mortgage burning at one of the conventions. I think that was a big step for the organization to have a place they called home.
When Tommy got Parkinson's, well, at first, it didn't slow him down at all. And really nothing has stopped him from doing anything. He just keeps on keeping on. It seems like he puts the cattle first, but it's family first.
You just see that Tommy was so interested in helping others. It was important for him to have success in the bank and on the farming operation, but so important to be part of his community and help his community.
And he was just the right guy at the right time to be able to get done what the association needed to get done.
As you saw in the video, Tommy's been married to his wife Kay for 39 years. They've got 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. Before I turn it back over, one quick appreciation. Let's show our thanks to Jacob Redway, who's on staff at KCA, for his wonderful job putting the video work together for these presentations. It's an amazing history that we have. And once again, let's collectively thank all 5 recipients, as well as their spouses and family. And if you've been attending this each year, I think you'll see that there is a common theme at each one of these recipients. They've got a strong spouse and/or family behind them that has allowed them to reach the accomplishments that they have. So let's congratulate them all once more.
Good evening. Tonight I'm here to present an Industry Service Award, and this award honors someone who's went above and beyond in the beef cattle industry, and this year's winner is a shining example of that. He has served our industry well for over 30 years, covering every county in our state, and most importantly, always with our beef cattle farmers at the top of his mind. He's always been instrumental in the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association and has served as someone our staff and leaders could always count on to offer guidance in our industry. This year's Industry Service Award winner, Roy Burris, has always been an invaluable piece of cow country news, writing columns for 31 straight years. And if you need to add that up, that's 372 articles that he has written, and always turning them in on time, which I love. He was and remains instrumental in the CPH 45 program. After starting that program, he's remained an effective piece of its advancement when changes needed to be made, and has always been the biggest cheerleader for that program as well. I could go on and on about his accomplishments, but we'll let Roy sum it up in his last column of Cow Country News in December of 2018 with this quote. I hope that over my career, I've encouraged you to arm yourself with knowledge, to act with independence of thought, and to keep your farm profitable and sustainable for the long haul. So if you'll turn your screen, or turn to the monitors over here, we've got a video.
Dr. Burris is one of the very best practical beef cattle nutritionists I've ever known and worked with. And I can sure say this, anytime I have a problem that I need to discuss with an expert concerning nutrition of beef cattle, the person I always call is Roy Burris, and he's always willing to share and give me the answer if he knows the answer, and if it's not, he'll always find the answer.
Dr. Burris is definitely a pioneer in terms of extension education and what he's been able to do for the beef cattle industry of Kentucky. Roy serves the beef industry for two reasons. He loves cattle, but even more he loves people, and he wants to see people be successful. His contributions to the Cow Country News and his timely monthly articles, you would be amazed at how many people talk about that they start their month by reading his article, and that's what tells them what they need to do for that month.
It's not because I have a lot of cattle that he came to my farm, it's because I'm a Kentucky producer that he came to my farm. If I had 5 or if I had 500, he'd treat me the same. He always had the same sincere interest. He wanted to see us succeed. He wanted to see Kentucky cattle producers become the best in the country. And through his expertise, through his guidance, through his leadership, I think we've accomplished that.
And just want to take that opportunity to tell people that as much as he's done in the state of Kentucky, that's been amplified all across the country with people that he's helped in their extension programs elsewhere.
So Dr. Burris, can you come up?
Good evening. I have the pleasure of recognizing the Kentucky Beef Council Service Award winners tonight. But before I recognize the folks that may be more towards the plate side of it, I would like to take a minute on behalf of the staff of the Kentucky Beef Council to recognize our farmers and the farmers' wives and all the folks that have helped us throughout this year. We know that we call upon you maybe sometimes not with a lot of notice to come onto your farm, to come and allow us to have influencers come out to tour or maybe have you do an interview for us. And so we truly appreciate you as the farmers and farmers' wives and everyone that has helped us be successful in promoting and educating folks about beef. And so from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate it, and please don't stop when we call you. Please keep saying yes to us because we need you. And the folks outside of our community need to know who you are. And with that, I'd like to then recognize some folks that have gone above and beyond to really help us in the beef community tell our story with the Beef Council Service Awards. And the first award we're going to recognize is the Kentucky Beef Backer Award. And if you'll turn to watch a video, we would like to recognize this person.
A large portion of beef sales in the United States depend on the commitment and dedication of supermarkets of all sizes. This year, we are able to say thank you to a retailer that is blazing new trails in the meat case and making beef more accessible to their shoppers through checkoff-funded programs, as well as their own innovative marketing and merchandising efforts. The Kroger Company was started by B.H. Kroger over 135 years ago in Cincinnati and now operates directly or through its subsidiaries 2,765 supermarkets and multi-department stores. The Kroger Louisville division just celebrated over 90 years of service with 116 stores in Kentucky as well as stores in Indiana and Southern Illinois. Within the Louisville division, Kroger sells 12 million pounds of beef annually. That roughly equates to 24,490 head each year. The top-selling cut is the chuck roast, followed by the strip steak, tenderloin steak, tip roast, and London broil. Over the years, Kroger has been an invaluable partner to the Kentucky beef community and the Beef Council. They've served as hosts to the Derby Burger Cook-Off for over 5 years, implemented in-store promotions on key beef items, hosted family mealtime events and samplings, invited KBC to train meat leaders and dietitians, and most recently launched Kentucky Cattlemen's ground beef in 85 stores plus 4 more in the Nashville division.
Beef is extremely important to us. We sell a lot of beef, and that's what we talk about when we're on the sales floor. So getting these selling tips and coaching tips for our customers are vital for us, and we thank the Kentucky Beef Council for being a partner with us on that.
The Kentucky Beef Council is proud to recognize the Louisville division of the Kroger Company with the Beef Factor Award.
And so we'd like to welcome Greg Osborne to the stage, who's representing the meat merchandising at the Louisville division of Kroger. Let's recognize them. Our next award is recognizing someone in outstanding education of service, and we have a short video we'd like to present this award with.
It is vital for educators to engage with students in a way that feels relevant to them to create well-educated students that can navigate today's ever-changing world. The staff at Winburn Middle School does just that, going the extra mile to seek out unique learning opportunities for their students. Winburn staff have been friends of beef for many years, utilizing checkoff materials and training opportunities. Ms. Wilson was eager to check out the Yards classroom when its doors were open to visitors. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade Winburn students were able to experience the Yards facility in person and learn about Kentucky's beef industry from pasture to plate.
The Yards field trip is absolutely amazing. The kids actually get to go there and see it live. They get to see what we've been talking about in ag and in family consumer sciences. They also get to understand how everything works in that particular field of study. They keep the kids engaged, and the kids absolutely love it.
People from the Kentucky Beef Council coming to my classes to speak and bringing hundreds of dollars of meat products for them to visually look at and say, hey, this is what you see in the store, here's what it is, and here are the nutritional benefits, to bringing in byproducts and drawing those lines to connect all the way from me just as a teacher being able to sit behind my desk and look up content where it's just one less thing that I can take off my plate and say I can trust this curriculum and that it's good and that it's relative to Kentucky, and I can use that and alter it to meet the needs of my students. So the Kentucky Beef Council is very helpful as a teacher in the classroom.
The Kentucky Beef Council is proud to call Winburn Middle School a leader in beef education and honor them with this year's Outstanding Educational Service Award.
And accepting this award today, we have Robin Wilson of Winburn Middle School. Congratulations. The last award I would like to present is the Outstanding Beef Service Award. And again, we have another short video.
Working early mornings and long days are no stranger to this next recipient. You might think we are talking about one of our own, but we are recognizing a gentleman who has dedicated almost 34 years to Kroger and the meat industry. Greg Osborne has spent the majority of his career in meat merchandising, working closely with Kroger's meat department to ensure the meat case is top-notch and that shoppers have an outstanding selection of beef and other proteins. Greg also strives to work with store teams to implement local community events that range from charity walks, fundraisers for causes like breast cancer or muscular dystrophy, and food banks like God's Pantry and Dare to Care to help eliminate hunger and food waste through Kroger's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste business model. This native Kentuckian has a passion for supporting our local farm families, evidenced in the past year as Greg has been a key leader in the launch of the Kentucky Cattlemen's ground beef in Kroger stores. Greg's dedication doesn't stop at Kroger. He has been married to his beautiful wife, Teresa, for over 27 years, and they have a beautiful daughter, Jordan, who is a graduate of Georgetown College and employed by Tech Systems in Lexington, and a son, Adam, who is a junior finance major at the University of Louisville. Also, Trout, a 10-year-old lab that loves to go fishing.
Our associates actually went out and saw that happening out in the pastures, and now they understand the good hard work that it takes to go from there to our shelves. And you've got to be very, very proud. It gives us hope that things like this are going to keep building, and the Kentucky Agriculture Program is just going to keep getting stronger.
We are proud to recognize Greg Osborne with the Kentucky Beef Council Service Award.
We'd like Oz, as he's better known in most places, to recognize him for the Service Award. That's why I had to do the video.
Well, I know. Dave wants me to say something, but I would tell you that we're honored at Kroger, and we're always delighted to get recognized in any category, especially these. But we would thank you all. Whether you're farming, whether you're working or serving in the community, you're doing that among a lot of our associates that work hard and serve the community. We've got 2 and 3 generations of folks in our stores too, so that makes a big difference to us. And the good hard work that these folks do, the deep resources that we have with the Kentucky Beef Council, the Cattlemen Association, that just helps us better connect and be a better partner so we can be successful and serve you. So thank you very much.
All right, up next this evening, we're going to recognize a few young individuals that have competed in different contests, and they've been chosen to receive some funds, and I'll get a little bit more into that here in a second. But first off, my name is Brandon Gillis, and I'm with Farm Credit Mid-America. I'm a financial officer here in Owensboro, and here to present the Heifer Initiative Awards tonight, I have David Albin, who's a regional vice president with us here in the Northwest Kentucky region. So being from Owensboro, I want to thank everyone for making the trip out tonight. I hope y'all have enjoyed y'all's time here in Owensboro. I know we always love having the Cattlemen's Convention come here to Owensboro. It's great to see the fellowship that we all have as cattlemen together. So I really appreciate everyone. I hope you had a great time here in Owensboro. So with that, we have the privilege tonight of presenting the 2019 Kentucky Cattlemen's Heifer Initiative Award. Established in 2007, the Heifer Initiative Award was created to help youth across the state of Kentucky to purchase a heifer to begin or grow their own herd. In 2011, Farm Credit Mid-America was honored to form a partnership with the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association. Our partnership helps us live our mission of securing the future of rural communities and agriculture. We hope to grow the interest of the next generation of the cattle industry through the many students who apply. We're excited to ensure the continuation of this program with the great people across the Commonwealth. Our winners selected in each age division based on their applications and responses to questions as pertaining to the beef industry. Each of the 3 winners receive up to $2,000 to purchase a heifer from a Kentucky Cattlemen's Association member. Tonight, we'll announce and award the 3 youth who were selected at this year's Heifer Initiative Award recipients. Whenever I do call the recipients' names, if you would please come forward, we'll tell a little bit more about you and your growing operation. So whenever I say that, we'll recognize at the end of your information. So the winner of Division 1, ages 9 to 13, is Josh Kerndahl from Bull County. Joshua credits his experience with cattle from his older brother Caleb's herd of purebred Herefords. Now that he is 12 years old, his parents have finally said he could purchase his own heifer next spring. Joshua overall's plan for his heifer is to show her at the county, district, state, and possibly even the national level, and to start his own purebred herd. He says in his essay that he loves the teamwork and friendships formed and the preparation for the cattle show ring. Will you please help me recognize Joshua as the Heifer Initiative winner for Division 1? The winner for Division 2, ages 14 to 17, is Mandy Clough from Harrison County. Mandy's own beef operation consists of 12 registered Red Angus cattle, and she uses for breeding and show purposes. But she hopes to grow it to around 20 head or so by the time that she's 18. In her essay, Mandy describes her biggest influence in the beef industry is her family. And not simply because she has been raised around agriculture, but because farming has given her family a purpose and a passion, income and support, and family stories told around a kitchen table. Will you please help me in recognizing Mandy Clough as a Heifer Initiative winner for Division II? And our last winner, the winner for Division III, ages 18 to 21, is Savannah Hill from Nelson County. What started out as a 4-H project has grown into a herd of predominantly purebred Simmental cattle for Savannah, whose family did not own cattle before she started showing. Savannah relied heavily on her 4-H leader to navigate her through the world of showing and into the cattle industry. Now a freshman at the University of Kentucky, Savannah travels home on the weekends to check in on her herd, and she is utilizing sexed semen and embryo transfer to maximize the genetic potential of her herd. Will you please help me in recognizing Savannah Hill as a Heifer Initiative winner for Division III?
I get the distinct pleasure of, raise these back up, of giving our outgoing president his retirement gavel and his portrait of himself, and get to say a few things about you, Bobby. So I'll keep it short. You know, Bobby's been in the organization a long time, and I was just trying to think back, you know, when, in my mind, when I met you first, Bobby, and several years ago, you know, Bobby came up through the ranks of a director, then a regional vice president, and then he went into kind of a new position, the Beef Network, didn't you, Bobby? And held that position for many years, and then he came on up through the ranks and is president this past year. And, you know, I was sitting there thinking, every person that has the position of president that I can remember over the last 15 or 20 years always has something distinctive about them that they brought to the table or what they've done in their time, not only as being president, but beforehand also. And with Bobby, it goes back, and a lot of people, most people know Bobby's a lawyer somewhat, don't we, Bobby? That Bobby's a lawyer by trade and a farmer also, but you know, Bobby's always brought to our board, this is what if you ask me in one sentence, what I remember is Bobby always brought the things that went on in the board sound advice to keep us on a straight path of doing things the correct way. And we leaned on Bobby a lot of times, and you don't realize how many extra hours Bobby put in besides filling his position within the association that he agreed to do, but the unbelievable amount of hours that you put in behind the scenes doing things for the association to keep us out of trouble with rules and regulations and checking on things for us. And I know many of you all, how many of you read his columns every month? I mean, unbelievable. And I'm asking in front of everybody on my monthly columns, would you give me a little section of the legal advice to help in mind? But Bobby, come on up. We want to give you this plaque and a picture. Let's give this man a hand. He has spent many hours in this association and has done a tremendous job as being president, and show him how we appreciate him.
I wasn't really expecting a standing ovation. They told me that tonight is the night that I get to say goodbye, and I'm really not good at goodbyes. So they told me I should write something. To tonight I'll say that it is a bittersweet time for me. Anytime that you become involved in something and you stay involved in that for as many years as I have, you grow close to people. And it's been 10 plus years at least, and I honestly have lost track. By virtue of the fact that I was the KBN chairman, that is an ex officio committee member on the executive committee, and so I held that position for several years. So I've been driving back and forth to Lexington for monthly meetings, 10, 12, 14 years. I don't know how many, but I said, you know, come soon, the fourth Friday of every month, I'm not going to know what to do because I've always gone to Lexington for the last several years. Tim mentioned that I have a law practice. When I set it up, I decided to not be open on Fridays. And a whole lot of that was because I knew I was committed to KCA. So I'm a firm believer that God has a plan for our lives. But I also believe that God gives us choices to make. And for all of us in this room, for whatever reason, your choice made you here tonight. And my choice to get involved in KCA was made years ago, and I said that choice is one that I'll never forget. My choice to get involved in KCA initially was probably because I looked up to the previous presidents, the previous KCA leaders, and I respected their level of knowledge. And I guess I just wanted to emulate them. But my choice to stay involved was for a totally different reason. I saw firsthand how dedicated and passionate Dave Maples is and the entire KCA staff. They were and they still are so dedicated and passionate about everything they do, and they work so hard every day to promote the industry that I love. So, you know, I never really thought seriously about our cattle raising lifestyle being attacked to the point that it could disappear entirely. And once the tobacco landscape in Kentucky changed so drastically and essentially disappeared, it opened my eyes to the possible consequences that could happen to our cattle industry unless we work to defend it. And so along the way somewhere, I realized that it really is important to stay involved in a way that we can defend our industry, we can protect it, and we can promote it. I'm the 7th generation to farm our family farm. My children are the 8th. And if I want to pass that farm along to them, I think it's paramount to all of us to stay involved in an organization such as KCA. But probably the major reason that I stayed involved in KCA all these years was you, the members. And I'll have to say I've witnessed firsthand, more so this last year than ever before, how so many of you give of your time day after day on a county level or a regional level. And you too are so involved and so passionate, and it makes me want to stay involved because everybody is giving their time so unselfishly. And oftentimes, quite frankly, you know, I would do those legal chores and people would ask, are you billing for those? And I said, well, there's not a single person in this room that's billing for their time. So we all need to give unselfishly. Like anything you do in life, the more you give to an organization, the more you receive. And I'll have to say the rewards have far outweighed what I've given to the organization. This past year has been one of the busiest of my life, I'll have to say, but it's also one of, if not the most enjoyable of my life. As I traveled across Kentucky and even the country this past year, I observed the beauty of parts of Kentucky that I'd never even traveled to before. And while each Cattlemen's organization meeting was different from the next one that I would attend to, I said there was always this common bond between all of us. We all love to farm, we all love our lifestyle, we all want to care for our animals in the best possible manner, and we all want to be able to pass that next generation the farm if they so choose. I stated last night to the county presidents that if someone asked me why I farm, I said they'll just never understand the answer. The question itself shows that they don't understand why we farm. Someone once told me that, told a friend of mine who was elderly, that he felt sorry for my elderly friend, that he had to get out and feed every day in the cold and the mud. And my elderly friend told him that he felt sorry for those who were not able to get out and feed every day. Serving as your KCA president has been the highest honor I could have ever imagined. It's been the most enjoyable year of my life serving you, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the opportunity to be in this position. Thank you very much.
I don't think I'm actually everyone's worst nightmare. Anyway, as chairman of the Kentucky Foundation, I want to tell you some of the things we do, and I'm not going to keep you very long. Yesterday we had a foundation board meeting. We have that about once a year, and it set our budget for the following year. For over the past several years, we've given out $10,500 worth of general scholarships, one per each region, and then 2 general scholarships, for a total of $10,500. We do have 2 veterinary scholarships that we give to Kentucky students at the University of Auburn Vet School. Those are $2,500 apiece. We also this year are starting I think our 6th or 7th leadership class, and I want to thank Alltech for sponsoring this 2-year endeavor for us. It does get a little expensive, but the future leadership of this organization comes from that leadership class. At least that's what we look to, for as far as leadership. And the thing about leadership, the one thing somebody always told me, says the first thing you got to do is you got to show up. Even if you don't say anything, you got to show up, and that's where the leaders come from. One of the other things that we do is, some of you may have seen on TV during the winter, pets, animals, livestock not being cared for. We had a guy, named Jim Gage, who is now passed, gave us some money to help the fiscal courts or the pet rescues, that end of dog, cats, as far as feeding them over the winter months, and also large animals if there's such. But we give out $5,000 towards that each year. And Carrie Brown, I appreciate her. She goes around and there's a committee that looks at that and divvies up the money, and then she goes around and takes pictures of it where the cattlemen are involved and give that money to whichever local entity we feel deserves the most money. Anyway, that's basically what we do. But the foundation is set up where the individuals and businesses can give back to the industry that has given so much to us. And the auction tonight is part of that, where we raise money, where we can give scholarships and do things that help the organization in a positive manner. So I'm going to turn this over, I think, to Dave Maples. He's got this thing organized, and have at it.
Have at it. So we got to get going. All right, y'all know how we've had the contest in the last couple of years where the auctioneers had to be 23 years of age and under. So I was piddling around and didn't do my job, so I got to thinking, I said, I don't have any contestants right yet. So what I've decided to do is let's have a contest of seasoned auctioneers. So you got to be over 70. So I've invited 2 of our seasoned auctioneers. So with Mr. Charles Miller, Mr. Mickey Staten, would y'all come up and we're going to have a little contest. So y'all come on and y'all get ready because it's going to be good. And then our juniors are going to help us. Tim and Jim, would y'all help some of our juniors take bids and kind of maybe coach them along? And so we've got 4 items is all we've got. So here's the rules. Each auctioneer will get to sell 2 items. One will sell 1, and then the next one will sell 1. And Fran, would you mind keeping the score? So the way you win is you sell your item for the most, and then they'll sell the next item. So, Mr. Miller, you've been fortunate enough to draw the first item. So your item is going to be a print. It's a nice red print here. It's a tobacco print, tobacco theme print. It was part of the YCC trip, and the foundation purchased that, and we'll be selling the print. So you want to practice warming up, or you got it, or you want to practice all your ring crew, or you just going to take off and go?
I just want to question why I'm here.
Well, you're supposed to raise money.
It's amazing the things, and I think Mickey will agree, that we do for Dave Maples. Now, it was late last week. It was late last week that Dave called. He said, I've messed up. I haven't got the young auctioneers together. Can you and Mickey do this for me? So here we are, and we're above 23, aren't we, Mickey? Yeah. All righty, I've never beat anybody doing anything, but anyway, we're going to have a good time trying. All righty, let's go. What do we got here, girls? I want you to look. All righty, on the print that we've got right here, let's go on it.
They can see it on the screen right there.
All right. Okay, on the print, and what have we got here? Give me 200. At 2, will you go $200 bid? At 2, will you go $200 bid? 2, will you go 2? Got 2, now 3, will you go 300 for it? And 3, will you go 300? 3, now 4, will you go $400 bid? 4, will you go 4? At $400 bid, where now 4, will you go 4? Will you go 4? Now 5, at $500 bid, 5, will you go 500 for it? At 5, will you go 500 for it? You're out over here 5. At $500 bid, 5, will you go 5? Will you go 5 anywhere? At $500 bid, 5, will you go 5 for it? At $500 bid, where now 5, will you go 500 for it? At 500 anywhere, will you go 5? Will you go 5? Do you want it? 500 anywhere. 500 anywhere. At 5, will you go 500 for it? Are you all in now, through and done? Surely not, because Mickey's going to beat this. I can tell you what, Mickey's going to beat this. 500 anywhere. 500. What about it? 500? I believe I would. Got 5. Now 6. Will you go 6, Jim? At 6, will you go 6 for it? At 6, will you go 600? 6 now 7. Will you go 700 anywhere? At 700, $7, will you go 700 for it? At 700 anywhere, will you go 700 for it anywhere? At 700 for it, will you go 700 one time? Do you want it? 700 anywhere. 700 anywhere. Are you all in, through and done? 700. Sold it right here, 600. Your way, right in front here.
All right, Mickey, he's set the bar pretty high. Our next item is Mr. Joe Goggins has donated some tractor pull tickets. That's been a thing we've had for a long time, but he has thrown in 2 extra ones this time. So, Joe, is it right? We got 2 for Saturday night, and guys, these will be right at the end, right there on the finish line, and then we got 2 for the Saturday matinee. So we got 4 tickets at the tractor pull coming up here in just few weeks. You ready?
I'm ready. I was feeding cattle when Dave called me, mud up to my knees, taking net wrap off of frozen hay. And I said, what in the world does he want now? And I answered the phone, and he said, I need an auctioneer. I thought he was talking about the game night auctioneer. I said, yeah, I'll be there, and I'll do it for you. So here we go. 4 tractor pull tickets. All right, let's go down. We only give 4, and we said 500 for them. Hit 5, we give 5. We said $500 for the 515. Said me in, we only give. We said $500 for them to 515. 4. Who said $400 for them to 4? We give 4. Who said $400 for them to 4? 8. Dave Murray Bach wants to be a ring caller.
All right, put her up here,
She requested to be a bid caller. So I need money. 400. Who said $400 for me to 4? With you 4? Who said $400 for? I can't see a thing. So at 4, who said $400 for me to 4? With you 4? Who said $400 for me to 4? 3. At 3, who said $300 for me? 3. You want 3? Who said $300 for me? 3. You want 3? With you 3? Who said $300 for me? 3. You want 3? $100 bill. 200. 200, now 3, with 3. There you go, Murray. There you go. 2, now 3, with 3. I got 200, I'm on 3. At 2, now 3, with 3. At 2, now 3, with 3. At 200, I'm on 3. What about 250? At 200, now 250. 250, 200, now 250. Want 250, 250, now. Did you say it, Jim? 300, now 350. I got, take 3, Tim. Over here. 250 now 3 with the 3 at 250 1 3 300 now 350 at 300 now 350 1 350 300 now 350 with the 50 300 1 350 350 now 4 with the 4 350 400 now 450 150 400 now 450 at 4 now 450 150 150 400 now 450 150 400 now 50 at 4. I gotta have $600, folks. What'd you get? 500? Dang. I'll take it. But I still need more. 450 now, 5 with the 5 to 450 now, 5 with the 5 to 450 now, 5 forward. At 450 now, 5 with the 5 to 450. 500 now, 550, 150, 500 now, 550. At 500 now, 550, 150, 150, 500 now, 550. Huh? 550 now, 600. At 5, well, come on, Jim, I gotta have it. 500 now, I got 550. I need 600. At 550 now, 656 at 550 now, 616. At 550 now, 616. Come on, Tim. At 550 now, 656 at 550 16. 56 at 550 16. At 550 then 6. How much do you get, Charles?
We've got 2 items now.
Oh.
We get another change, I think.
Do we?
Yeah.
All right. I got 550. No, he didn't get 600. I got 550 now, 656 at 550 now, 6. All in and all done. At 550 and 6. I'm going to sell out. 550 and 6. Sold at 550. I'm not sure. Tim's way. Middle aisle. Jeff Kofer.
All right, so what's the score, friend? 600 to 550. All right, so here comes our second item. No, we need the back. That'll be the second one. We need that one, Corey. So this is Mr. Miller's. He's a tobacco farmer. A lot of tobacco farmers in the room. This was donated by the Marion County Cattlemen's Association.
All right.
Shadow box.
Yes, that is a beautiful hand of tobacco, plus an old splitting knife, a tomahawk on my left side, and a spear there. So it's got several years represented here now. I don't know if there's anybody in here that ever split any tobacco or not, but my dad did, but I never have. But anyway, do what?
It's got all you need but a stick.
Everything but a stick is right there. Yes, sir. All righty, on this, and look at that shadow box frame. It is really nice now. You're not going to find something like this everywhere. All righty, let's go on it. And what have I got here? Give me 500. Will he go 5? Will he go 500 for it? At 5, will he go 5? Give me 250 then. 250 one time. At 250, 250. Now 3. Will he go 300 for it? At 3, will he go $300 billy 3? Will he go 3? At $300 billy 3. Will he go 300 for it? At $300 billy where now 3? 250 bid. Now 3. Will he go 300 for it? At 300, will he go 300 for it anywhere? At 3, will he go 300 for it anywhere? Do you want it now? 300. At $300 billy 3. Will he go 300 for it? Surely there's more former tobacco farmers in here than that. 300 anywhere. Will he go $300 billy 3? Will he go 300 for it? At 3 now 4. Will he go 400 for it? And 4. Will he go $400 billy 4? Will he go 4 for it? At 300 bid now 4. Will he go 4? Wait a minute. All righty. I got 3. Well, that means 4, doesn't it? All right, you work that out. All right. Got 4? All righty. Thank you, sir. 400, he said, now 50. At $400 bill, now 50. Will he go 450 one time? At $450 bill, 50. Will he go 450 for it? At $450 bill. At 450, will he go 450 one time? At $400 bill, now 50. Will he go $450 bill, 50 anywhere? At $450 bid for it? At $450 bill, anywhere? Do you want it now? 450 anywhere? 450, now 5, Jim. At 500, now 5. Would he go 5 one time? 5. Would he go $500 bid? At $500 bid anywhere? Now 5. Would he go 5 for it? At 500 for it anywhere? Would he go 5? Would he go 5 one time? Do you want it? At 500, would he go 5 one time? At $500 bid 5. Would he go 5? Would he go 5 for it? At $500 bid 5. Would he go 5? What's the matter, Jim? At 500, would he go 5? Would he go 500 for it? At 500, would he go 5 one time? Do you want it now? 500 anywhere? 450 bid now 5. At 450 bid now 5. Would he go 5 for it? Do you want it anywhere? 500. 500 anywhere. 5, he said, now 50. At $550 bill, 50. Will he go 550 for it? And 6. Will he go 600 anywhere? At $600 bill, now 6. Will he go 6 for it? At 600, will he go 6 for it? Will he go 6 for it anywhere? 6 seems to be the magic number, Mickey. It seems to be, yeah. All righty, 6. Will he go 600 for it? At 600, will he go $600 bill? 6. Will he go 6 one time? At 550 bid, now 6. Will he go 6 for it anywhere? I tell you, there's no action at all. And this end of the room, Tim's room end is dead. I'm at 500. I want 6. Is that right? Well, I think I've got a little action over here. Yeah, I believe I do. Yeah. But it's not much, I can tell you that. All righty, needs 600. Will he go 600 for it? At 6, will he go 600 for it anywhere? Now 6, will he go 6 one time? At 550 bid, now 6, will he go 600 for it anywhere? Do you want it? 600 anywhere. Tim, are you awake? I didn't know. I saw the hat, but I didn't know whether you were awake or not. 600 anywhere. Will he go 6 one time? Do you want it? All in. Not going to wear you out now. All in, through and done. 600 anywhere. Sold it right here your way, 550. All righty. You can beat that.
So you know how much you got to raise now, don't you? All right, this next item's really a special item. Young lady, Lexi
Craig.
Lexi Craig did this print. Lexi, this is special because Lexi received our scholarship last year at the Cattlemen's Association. I think she got one of the
foundation scholarship
plus the county scholarship. She's a pre-vet major at Moorhead, and what she told us is she wanted to give back. So that's what she's doing, and she did this nice piece of art. So,
Dave, where is Lexi from?
Oh, she might be from Bath County. So you weren't set up. But we're going to have to call them out now, so they're right. Where's Danielle? Is she back there in the back, right in the middle? Okay. So you ready? How much has he got to have, friend? Oh gosh. The tie.
Lexi,
you don't want a tie.
Lexi's mom and dad are sitting right back there. There's her mom. There's her dad back there. I think this is a pencil drawing. Drawed it with a pencil. With pencils. And how much I got to have? I'm going to blow you out of the water, George.
There you go.
I've got $750 and I'm gone. $800. That's $750 now. Hey, what do you give it? That's $750. I'm on 8 for it. That's $750. Burn up, bail me out now, I tell you. I got $750 and hey, what do you give it? That's $750. I'm on $800 for it. That's $750. $800 now. $850. What do you $50? $800 now. $850 now. $9. $850 now. $9. We get down. I got $850. Want $9. Want $9. $850 now. $9. You're out. $850 now. $9. We get down. I got $850. Want $9. You got $900. $850 won't 9, we get down 9, 8, 900 now 950. At 900 now 50 won't 50 900 now 50 you out Jeff 8 900 now 950 now $1,000. At 950 now 1,000 now down 1,050. At 1,000 and 1,050 now 11 when you get 11 I got 1,050 want $1,100 for it. At 1,050 now 11 I'm on 11 1,050 now 11 now 1,100 now 1150. At 1,100 now 1150 going to sell it to her 1,100 now 1150. Somebody else can get in too. She ain't done. She quit. Tim ain't done nothing. I've got 1,100. Want 1,150. At 1,100 now 50 150 1,100 now 1150. If you're all done, I'm going to be 1,100 now 1150. At 1,100 now 50 150 1,100 and 1150. What you say, Jim? 1,100 now 1150. At 1,100 and 1150. Anywhere. 1,100 and 1150. Yep. 1,200.
1,200. Where's Danielle?
Yeah, 1150 now, 12 on 12, 1150 now, 12. At 1150 on 12 on 12, 1150 now, 1,200 now, 1,250. At 1,200, 150, 150, 1,200 now, 1,250. At 1,200, 150, 150, 1,200 now, 50, 150, 1,200, 150. At 1,200, 150, 150, 1,200, 150. What you say, y'all in all 1,100? I got 1,200, 1,250. At 1,200, 150, 150, 1,200 now, 1,250. 1,200 and 1,250. What you say? 1,200, 150, 150, 1,200, 150. Anywhere. 1,200 and 1,250. Sold at $1,200. I think it's going. That's S&B Cattle Company, right? Yep. All right. Thank you all.
Thank y'all so much. Thanks for playing with us and raising some money. Got one last thing, and we will let y'all go home. We got a drawing for 2 Yeti coolers. I can't draw. Well, I can't do it. You got to draw. I don't have my glasses, so call it.
The first winner is Dallas McCutcheon from Trimble County. Right there. And we have Glenn Hill from Madison County. Is he here?
Right back here. Right back. So the 2 coolers are up here. All right, anything else? Thank y'all so much for coming, and we'll be back in Owensboro next year. So thank you so much.